Late summer and early fall are festival times in New England. For us, the fun lasts just a few days, but for the people who provide most of the food and entertainment at these events, it's a full-time job that takes them across the country. Connecting Point's Brian Sullivan met up with several members of the traveling tribe who work at the Eastern States Exposition, better known as the Big E, to find out more about life in the carnival circuit.
Peace, calm, serenity. 3 words not customarily associated with an atmosphere that can seemingly turn to this in the blink of an eye. At this moment, though, in the early AM hours, as vendors prepared their food trailers and game booths opened up like flowers unfolding their petals for the morning sun, all was quiet on the Western Front. Of course, this tranquility would be short-lived. This is, after all, a carnival. And for 2 weeks and 3 weekends in the month of September, these are the occupants of the Big E Fairgrounds in West Springfield, Massachusetts. These games, rides, and even a couple of food vendors comprise just one unit of the traveling city known as North American Midway Entertainment. While there are several other units that tour over 20 states and 4 Canadian provinces, this one is special, and the Big E is just one stop of many on its nearly year-long sojourn.
This unit is the all-star unit for North American Midway. We begin in March in Miami with the Miami-Dade Youth Fair, and we travel slowly up north as it gets warmer and end up in our summers in Chicago, generally around Memorial Day, southern Wisconsin, and we stay in that area most of the summer.
And after a stopover in the bluegrass state of Kentucky, the unit then begins the home stretch with the fall leg of their tour here in Massachusetts.
This is like one of our most favorite fairs because the food is good. People here are friendly. It's an absolute change in weather for us after being in Kentucky and down south. And then we're going to go from here to South Carolina, from South Carolina to Mobile, Alabama. And we'll be done beginning in November in that area, in that period of time.
Until then, it's rides and games for anyone who wants to test their equilibrium or try to beat the odds. While Midway does seek local help to fill out their rosters at each stop, the majority of the folks running the games and the rides are part of the touring team. Then there's the food. They may be sharing the same venue here at the Big E, but most of the vendors outside the Midway are individual entities running their own circuit.
We start in Long Island. We come from Florida and we go into Long Island, and then we come across on the ferry into New London, Connecticut, and we do a date there right on the pier with Banquet in a Bun. And from there we go to Virginia, we go back up to Verplank, New York, we come back to Connecticut. We're everywhere, everywhere.
Of course, it wouldn't be a fair without that carnival dietary staple, fried dough, or elephant ear, depending on what part of the country we're in.
In Massachusetts, nobody knows what an elephant ear is, but an elephant ear is actually the same thing as fried dough. So when we come to Massachusetts, we just get extra signs that say fried dough so that everybody knows what it is.
The elephant ear stand is just one of 4 food trailers that Rita and her family have on this strip just outside the back end of the Midway. Having grown up in this life, she knows that in order to make money, they need to follow the 3 rules of real estate.
You can have a stand in a bad location and not make any money at a really good fair, and you can have a good location and make a lot of money. So you got to be very careful where you put your stuff.
While Rita's tour dates and locations are similar to those of the Midway, the folks at Anna's Fried Dough started locally in the Boston area back in 1969. Their travel schedule is more regional, and they've been able to thrive off the sustained popularity of their product for 3 generations. And here's the kicker: no trans fat.
Fried dough falls under the heading of breads and cereals in the 4 major food groups, and it's just the kind of thing people expect to find in this carnival setting. But just like with the rides and games, when the Big E is over, this fried dough and the vendors who make them will be gone and on to the next leg of their tour.
They want to have more options than just fried fair food. And so the idea came to us to put everybody likes everything on a stick, anything on a stick. So we said, let's just put some fruit on a stick and dip it in chocolate and see what happens, and here we are.
It's a relatively recent phenomenon which seems to have taken off. Cinnamon City made its mark with their savory cinnamon rolls and branched out to pulled pork stuffed corn cakes before making fruit smoothies and fruit kebabs. Looking for vegetables, though? go see the doctor.
Yeah, we just take something that is, pretty healthy, and we like to add the fair spin on it. So what's best at a fair than just to have something deep fried? And we do that with vegetables. It's good snack food, and people seem to really enjoy it.
Witchar's home base is Florida, but she and Nicholson each made their way here by way of the Midwest Fair circuit from Indiana and across the map eastward. And it doesn't stop here, but life on the road is life for them, whether it's behind the wheel or behind the counter in their multitude of destination points.
I was raised out on the road, so when I looked at carnival lights at night, it just is something that touched my soul. So I said, this is what I want to do.
Each show is different. That's a nice thing about traveling around and seeing different places. You get to experience the culture of each different show. And each one's, this is one of my favorite shows that we do just because I love what they've done with this fair and everything about it. It's really cool.